Assalamu alaikum. If I have a friend who smokes or if I meet someone who smokes, I don't usually tell them, hey man, you should just quit. It's not good for you. Stop smoking cigarettes. That might be the best advice, but human nature being human nature, we know that people don't often take the best advice or just quit things cold turkey. So instead of telling the smoker that I know that he or she should just quit, I usually tell them something like, hey man, have you tried vaping instead? Do you know with vaping you can get vape juice that has nicotine in it, and then you can slowly start decreasing the amount of nicotine. Every time you buy a vape juice refill, you can get it with like less and less nicotine quantity in it, and eventually you can go down to zero nicotine, and then you've kicked the nicotine habit, and then it's going to be easier to break the smoking or the vaping habit. If you've understood this example so far, then you might appreciate the rest of this video, because this video is taking into account the reality that people are watching films. Muslims are watching movies, our Muslim youth are watching Hollywood films. So taking into account that reality, how can we minimize the moral damage that these films are doing to us? Short of quitting watching these films altogether, the next best advice that I can give to people is to try to filter these films, or rather pre-filter these films before you watch them. So this video will benefit you if you are a Muslim parent or a Christian parent or any parent that wants to be careful and cautious about what their young children are exposed to. And if you're not a parent, if you're a young adult or a teenager, then hey, the responsibility is on you. It's not your parents, but you need to take responsibility for what you watch and for what you listen to, because whatever goes into the eyes, whatever goes into the ears, is eventually going to reach the heart. And your heart, your spiritual heart, is the most important thing that you have to guard, that you have to protect. So I want to introduce you to two very, very useful resources on the internet that you can use to pre-filter the films that you watch. At least one of these websites, if not both, are Christian, and it's not every day that I plug a Christian website, but I genuinely, sincerely believe that these websites can help Muslim families as well. So please make use of them. The first site, if you haven't heard of it already, is called Common Sense Media, and the other site that I want to recommend is called Plugged In. Common Sense Media might require a subscription, I'm not sure. They might have a limit on how many free searches you can do per month, whereas Plugged In, as far as I know, which is the Christian website, is free, and I think you can use it as much as you want. So the sites are very self-explanatory. You can use them on your own. They're not difficult to navigate, but I just want to walk you through one particular example, and that example is of Star Wars Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker. Now, when I was a kid, I was an 80s kid, Star Wars films were like squeaky clean, family-friendly films. Yes, I mean, there was a kiss scene between Han Solo and Leia, but take that one little scene out, and you have a squeaky clean film. In fact, even the violence in Star Wars used to be like watching friends playing a game of laser tag. No blood, no mutilation, nothing like that. But fast forward to 2020, and it can be a different story. So if you are a parent, advice number one would be, don't take anything for granted. Don't think that because it's a Star Wars film, there's nothing wrong or immoral or objectionable in it. Don't think that because the film is produced by Disney, it's going to be a squeaky clean film. Always have your guard up. If you care about your kids, if you care about yourself, if you care about your family, keep your guard up. Assume the worst, and hopefully what you get won't actually be the worst. Okay, so let's take a little run through the website Common Sense Media, and let's type in Star Wars Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker. Okay, so we'll go to Common Sense Media, and you can search not just for films, but see, you can look at books, apps and games, video games. I mean, at least know what kinds of video games your kids are playing. Again, this is not the 1980s. This is not like Super Mario Brothers, Mario jumping on a turtle. We all know that video games can contain lots and lots of immoral messages and images nowadays. So this is one way of knowing what your kids are watching or what they're playing. So in Common Sense Media, then we can type in Star Wars Episode 9, Rise of Skywalker. Okay, so here we have a review for it. You can click on that. Now here's what I really like about this site is it kind of breaks it down. Positive messages, okay, there's lots of them. Positive role models, lots of them. Violence, there's lots of them. Sex, now this is something you wouldn't really expect traditionally in a Star Wars film. So what do they mean by that? So you can click on this now, right? You can click on that and it'll tell you in detail. Two characters continue to have an intense supernatural bond that sometimes feels romantic. Poe comedically asks another character for a kiss 2 times. Several charged, longing looks, embraces brief kisses, both opposite sex, and extremely briefly, same sex. So Star Wars 9 is also the rise of LGBTQ in a Star Wars film, something you would not expect in 1977 with the original Star Wars, something you would not expect in 1980 with The Empire Strikes Back, but hey, it's 2020, so we have to at least be aware. Now let's try the same film in Plugged In. This is the Christian website as far as I know, so again here in the search we'll type in Star Wars Rise of Skywalker, it's already there. Okay, here's the review from March 31st, 2020. So here you have a synopsis of the film, positive elements, spiritual elements, right? Sexual content. So 2 primary characters share a kiss. He renews acquaintances with someone who appears to be an old flame. At one point he looks at her and flicks his head toward a more secluded spot. A silent invitation, the movie suggests, to engage in a more intimate encounter. The old flame shakes her head no. One female character wears a low-cut top. Back-to-back scenes during a crowded celebratory sequence show a gay female couple kiss and hold hands. So I'm not here to tell you to watch films or to not watch films. But if your kids, especially your young children, are going to watch films anyways, if you're going to get DVD films or download films for them anyways, you better know what you're downloading for them. So in this case, if you're going to let them watch Star Wars Episode 9, at least you know that there's a celebratory scene near the end of the film where there's a brief lesbian kiss. So you can either fast forward through that whole sequence, you can watch the film beforehand to know exactly where that's coming. Or if, like me, you have video editing software, then you can just put that film into the program and literally just snip out, just cut out those scenes so that your children are not exposed to them. Okay, that's it. I'm done. I want to keep this short. It's just that I want to intersperse my videos with occasional videos that are just of general benefit to people. Simple, practical advice and tips that might benefit you in some small way. Oh, and if you're looking for a clean film to show your children, here is a great Canadian classic that you never heard of. It's a great war film, a war epic, I would consider it. It's called The Dog Who Stopped the War. It should be called the great Canadian film that everyone forgot about. Even Canadians don't remember this film. Watch The Dog Who Stopped the War. That actually has some interesting life lessons, moral lessons, philosophy of war, politics. It has a little bit of everything. There is one short kiss scene. Again, get rid of that. Fast forward through that. The rest of the film is very good. There's no nudity, there's no swearing, there's no sex scenes, and it's a personal favorite, The Dog Who Stopped the War. You can let me know what you think. Okay, if this video benefited you in any way, please remember me and remember my family in your du'as. May Allah bless you all. Jazakumullah khair. Assalamu alaikum.